Hi, I'm Donna Roseman David, Senior Gift Planning Officer at the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. Recently, the Jewish Community Foundation and the Hartford Foundation invited Ed Beckwith of Baker Hostetler in Washington, D.C. to speak to area professional advisors about charitable planning in uncertain economic environments.
I'm frequently asked what is the most underutilized charitable technique, and to be honest with you, it's speaking to the donor and listening carefully. The key here is the relationship between the charitable organization and the donor. And it's not that we are engaged in products like remainder trusts or lead trusts. It's that we are engaged in a dialogue with the donor to help the donor best realize their charitable and philanthropic goals and intentions. And so talking to them and listening carefully to them is probably the most underutilized technique. I find that this technique is critical in relating to not only the donor, the charitable gift planner, but also other advisors. And the key, I think, is to make sure that everybody's engaged in the dialogue and that everybody's contributing to the dialogue. It's often described as the planning team. And what we find is that if we start with donor-centric views, then we often will generate the type of dialogue we need to help the donor really develop a full philanthropic plan. And we as planners, professionals, lawyers, accountants, insurance professionals, gift planning professionals, so forth, can all then participate in sharing ideas and making the plan a better product. Charitable planning, by definition, is a subset of overall private wealth planning. We cannot address the philanthropic goals fully until we know that all the personal goals, other personal goals, have been fully addressed. And so as private wealth planners, no matter where we come from in the professional spectrum, we have to recognize that we have to address the donor as the whole person, the family as a unit, and look at what their needs and goals and objectives are. And very, very often they have not been addressed or have not been addressed for some time. Once we can look at the entire universe for this family unit, we can then start to identify areas where assets are available. There may be some wealth that can be given to charity now. There may be other wealth that can be deployed in ways to benefit the family now and benefit charity later. But we don't know that until we take a look at the whole picture. We can't just come into a situation and say, well, I'd like to accomplish X. I'd like a gift of Y dollars, or I'd like some stock in your company, or I'd like an interest in your retirement plan, or what have you. We have to look at the whole picture and identify really the best places to resource the philanthropic gifts. Anytime there is turmoil, it is an opportunity for people who care about private wealth and are dealing with private wealth to dialogue with individuals and say, what are your concerns? What are your fears? How can we make sure that your plan still is operating as you intend, or isn't this a good time to start your planning? And in that process, we can identify what philanthropic projects can be taken on now and what philanthropic projects might be planned for later, and they could be conditioned on recovery of the market or growth in assets or success in a business or whatever is the basic resource of the donor and the donor's family.